Are you a Magic user playing the Elder Scrolls Online wondering what are some of the most powerful weapons in the game in both PvE and PvP? Great, this video is going to be for you. Welcome back, gang, it's Deltia from Deltiasgaming.com, and today I'm going to break down some of the most powerful Magic weapons in the Elder Scrolls Online, where to get them, what they do, and how you can use them to make your builds even more powerful. Gear in the Elder Scrolls Online is much easier to obtain, and you can get the starter versions of these weapons quite easily and work towards the ultra powerful perfected. So what are they? I'm going to give you 2 for PvP and 2 for PvE so you can use them based on the content you enjoy. Let's start with PvE first, and thanks for watching. The first item up we have is a well-known one, Perfected Crushing Wall Set. This comes from Maelstrom Arena and Hrothgar. If you don't know, you can complete normal or veteran. If we read this, light and heavy attacks increase dealing damage 1353 on this tooltip when you have Wall of Elements down. There's 2 different morphs of Wall of Elements. I go with Unstable Wall typically in my builds. It's going to give you an explosion and it gives you a 10-second dot. So consider putting this on your back bar is what most people do because of that Maelstrom Arena staff's such advantageous effect. Let's go ahead and swap out just another random destruction staff, kill a world boss, then we'll kill it with the destruction staff on and just see how much more damage or light and heavy attacks do over time. So first completion up here, you'll see the light attack damage was my 3rd source of damage. And it 30,000 DPS overall, took 57 seconds. So let's wait for this thing to respawn and see what we can get and see how much more impactful that Destro is on our back bar. Okay, now the boss is back up. We got our lightning staff on. It's not going to be a complete apples to apples comparison comparing fire to lightning staff, but you're going to get the picture with how much more damage you'll do light and heavy attacks over time. Let's go nuke it down. We just finished up a parse. Light attacks are still my 3rd damage source on this. 4,437 with max almost 12,000 in light attack weaving. We go to the previous fight, 57 seconds. You can see 3,874 DPS with the max at 9,566. Not complete apples to apples parse, but you can see how one piece of gear can add a massive amount of damage because you can get that boss down quicker with just one piece on your back bar. Huge advantage in PvE. So think about picking it up, doing the normals if you can't get perfected. You gotta have this weapon. The next item up we have is the Master Restoration Staff Grand Rejuvenation Set. This comes from Craglorn in the Dragon Star Arena 4-player arena. You can run normal or veteran to get perfected. So if we read the tooltip, it's a bit deceptive in why and how this is so powerful. The initial heal of Grand Healing invigorates you and your group members with 4 seconds restoring magic and stamina every second. So essentially 4 seconds of good resource sustain. So why is resource sustain so important beyond the fact that you can use more abilities more frequently? Look, Elder Scrolls Online is all about DPS and PvE. If you can kill things faster, you can skip mechanics. So me as a healer, and what I think people don't understand is, if you're providing important buffs, debuffs, regeneration, and other tools, you can optimize your damage for your team more. So if my team doesn't have to run resource sustaining sets, resource sustaining gear, resource sustaining food, they can go all heavy damage. Just a very simple explanation of this is the difference between food. If I run this and some other sets allowing my DPS to switch food, we look at Clockwork Citrus. This is a gold food. It's fantastic. Increases max health recovery, max magic, and magic recovery, right? But what if I'm providing so much resource sustain they can switch food? If you went with the buy stat food, now look how much more health and how much more max magic you can have. More max health, you're less likely to die. More max magic, you're doing more damage. And that's why this is so powerful along with another sets in the game. Another thing that makes this really strong is it's not just good for 4-player content. In fact, it ramps up in efficiency and usefulness in trials. because that grand healing ability in the restoration staff is a massive, massive area circle. So if we go in our restoration staff, I took illustrious healing on my Mag Warden, so you're going to be able to place a big, huge, massive circle in an 8-meter radius. Perfect for trials, because typically all the DPS and everyone healer is going to be in the same spot, so you can put this healing springs on the entire group, having a really good healing over time, along with combat prayer to give you and your group minor berserk, increasing their damage. So with these two abilities, I can optimize massive damage and massive sustain. So let's take a look at how this works. We'll see this grand healing springs. You place it down, massive, massive area. See, it's starting to tick. I'm out of resources here, so I'm going to block so I can't regenerate stamina, and you can see my stamina come back those 4 seconds of that healing springs or illustrious healing. See? So you can see the magic comes back slowly, the stamina comes back slowly. This is going to help every single person in your group, PvE or PvP really, because everyone needs stamina, including the tank, the healer, the DPS, the dodge roll, sprint, break free. Everyone needs resources to cast buffs, debuffs, heal, and so forth. So it seems very, very little because this is on one player, but ramp it up. If you're playing with 12 players, this is one of the most powerful AoE resource sustaining tools in the game. You gotta get it. The first PvP setup we have is the Vatashram Perfected Wraith of Elements set. This comes from Markar, so we're in the zone, the Reach, in case you don't know, and it comes from the Solo Arena Vatashram Hollows. You can do it normal or veteran to get the perfected version. Casting Weakness to Elements, which is a destruction staff ability, to a target within 15 meters creates a beam. It ramps up in intensity. It's going to tether between you and an enemy, single target, for 10 seconds, and they can break that tether if they go beyond the 15-meter range. Also, in future patches, this will be able to be cleansed. However, some players don't have a cleanse, nor can they react fast enough. So how I use this, if we go to the Weapon Destruction Staff skill line, I take the Morph Elemental Drains, which I think is the obvious choice, because this is great in PvE and PvP by default. If we look at this ability, range is 28 meters, it's insta-cast, it's single target, it can be cast on multiple targets, it has a very long duration of 23 seconds. You'll notice there's no cost associated with it. It's a free ability. All it costs is 1 global cooldown, a second to cast it in the animation. It's going to apply Major Breach, which is going to ramp up your damage because it's going to reduce the spell resistance of a target. It's also going to give you minor magic steal, or giving you back resources when you attack this mob, or any allies do as well. It's a fantastic ability, but it becomes utterly game-changing with that weapon set. Now, when I cast it, not only am I going to get all those beneficial effects of this, but I'm going to do a laser beam on them that's going to absolutely murk them down and be very, very hard to counter. And I can do that laser beam every 10 seconds. Before I show you how I use this in actual combat, which I'll release in my Omega Magplar PvP build coming up later, you're going to want to set this up. The more you can set this up, the better it's going to go for you. So typically what you want to do is stun, snare, and immobilize a player before you cast Elemental Drain, because you don't want them running away, getting away, and not having the full 10-second duration, because remember, it ramps up in damage. So how I do this on a Templar is a multiple of ways. Toppling Charge. This is my gap closer that actually stuns and sets people off balance. So it's very nice to jump in the fight and or use Elemental Drain right away to proc this effect. Or what I can do is hit Elemental Drain and then CC the target. So if they have a second where they have to react, they can't get away from me, I'm on top of them, I'm much more likely to have that 10-second beam proc and maintain its effect, burning down a target. You can further augment this effect on your Magplar by using Puncturing Sweeps as a follow-up, because each strike reduces the movement speed of the closest enemy by 40% for 1 second. So the way I use this is get up close in melee, stun, use sweeps, while that beam is procced, so they have a much less likelihood of getting away, allowing it to ramp up in damage and just blowing someone up. We got some poor NPCs here, 30k health, watch this. There's the beam. Just sitting there proccing. I'm not doing anything else. 3k damage. It's just a massive, massive amount of damage, and it ramps up in intensity. Just killing someone, pressing one button. So if we were going to take it a step further, we're going to get up close, we're going to stun first, then apply the beam. Werewolf form, no problem. They try to get away, you do this. On a Templar, you finish them off with another beam, 2 beams. And if you wanted to get really disgusting and nasty, you put Zons on as well. And what that will do is proc another beam with your light and heavy attacks. So you would have 2 laser beams, flame, fire-breathing monster connected to one player. You stun, you snare, you immobilize. They're going to have a hard time dealing with all this pressure. So let's show you how this looks on a couple of friends here, the Minotaur and the Behemoth. There's the first beam, there's the second. Just sitting AFK, dead. Super, super powerful. So we're going to stun here, snare it up, Dawnbreaker, later. And that's why this is one of the most powerful PvP item sets in the game. You got to pick it up. The next item up is the Maelstrom Restoration Staff, giving you the perfected precise regeneration set. In case you don't know, Hrothgar is where you do Maelstrom Arena. You can do normal, or you can do the veteran version to get it perfected. So what makes this so strong is really, again, Magicka sustain. Unlike our Master's Restoration Staff, this gives 1 resource, but it gives a massive amount, especially if you have high crit. So we'll come to the Restoration Staff ability and the Regeneration base skill. You have a couple of options. 1, Rapid Regeneration. This kind of gives you a burst heal or an ally over 5 seconds. I equate this morph to the Alliance War Resolving Vigor. Think of it as a quicker, burstier heal. So you're not as likely to get all that resource sustain if you use this. Meanwhile, Radiant Regeneration is really nice because the heal is over 10 seconds up to 3 allies. So what I use on my Magic Dragonite in PvP is the 5-second one. Yes, I have a less likelihood of getting all of the resource sustain, but if we look at the cost, 2,400 to cast this over 5 seconds, and it's going to tick once every second. So there's 5 chances to give me roughly 500 Magicka back. It's a very, very effective use of my resources and healing. Moreover, I pair it with Harness Magicka as well. This is a damage shield. 50% of my max health is what it's capped off of, but it's going to give me back resources each time I'm hit. This effect can occur up to 3 times. So when I'm getting beaten on in PvP and people are chasing me around, I'm going to stack Harness Magic, prevent my health to go any lower, and then I'm going to pop Rapid Regeneration. As people continue to beat on me, well, my shield's going to go down, right? And it's going to give me back some resources, and then Rapid Regeneration could crit as well, give me back more and more resources. So if I'm getting beaten, it's kind of an infinity loop to keep myself alive. Okay, health down to half lower, Harness first. Rapid Regeneration. It's going to prevent my health from going any lower, and Rapid's going to heal me up to full pretty quickly. Same thing. Once my health starts to dip, I'm going to use Harness. It's going to give me back resources. Rapid Regeneration. Every time I crit, I get back resources as well. Burst healing up to full. You can even go further by adding another heal on here, making it incredible, incredible survivability. So keep getting beaten. Harness up. Rapid Regen. Hit that. And I'm back to full on my Magic Dragonite, making it an incredible, incredible set for solo PvP if you need a very strong heal over time that gives you back resources when it crits. Those are 4 of the most powerful Magic user weapons in the Elder Scrolls Online. There are so many more to choose from, but with the changes to the gear system, like the sticker book, retrading with transmutes, gear sharing, it's never been easier to obtain the latest and greatest gear sets. But I'm curious, what are some of your favorite Magic user weapons in the game? Please leave me a comment below so we can all learn what are some of the other ultra powerful weapons. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click that like, subscribe button, turn alerts on so you don't ever miss a video. If there's a topic you would like for me to cover in future videos, please tweet me at Deltiasgaming1. Your idea, link below in the description. Thanks for watching.